Morning, everyone. Okay, I don't have my glasses on.
You're welcome.
Most people don't like to bring attention to themselves, and I'm sure most people don't think their lives really make a difference. Our lives, good or bad, should be used to honor God. Our testimonies are not meant to be a bragging session or cause people to be enthralled how bad a person you were. Last week we heard Judy's testimony, which was not very easy for her to share, but through her life, God is glorified by it. Each person is unique, and no matter how good or bad your life is, we all need God, and no matter how good or bad, our testimonies are ultimately to glorify God and not ourselves. So I want to share a bit about my life so that God can be honored. I was raised in a Christian home, Sunday school, etc. I come from a loving, non-abusive home. Obviously, no home is perfect, but I was loved and I felt very comfortable with who I was. No one has a perfect school career, but I was never in any serious trouble. I never caused trouble. Shane always says I used to take an apple to the headmaster every day. In fact, the only time I saw the headmaster's office was on the last day of school, and that was to say goodbye. Apparently, during our younger years, Avante Flat was a local hangout for all the kids, and everyone used to get up to mischief there. Recently, some kids got into trouble with some of the residents. Judy and I were chatting about it, and she said she knows it's wrong, but which kid from our era hadn't been to the top of Avante Flats? We had a good giggle when I said me. I still haven't seen the top of Avante Flats. When I was in high school, Saturday nights was my all-time favorite. I would look forward to watching Miami Vice on TV or recording the top 20, sitting by myself till late at night, which I thought was so cool and daring. That was an absolute highlight of my week. Only when I met Shane years later, much to my dismay, did I find out what everybody was doing on a Saturday night, including my friends, and they were not all watching Miami Vice. I think young people had a lot of pressure, and they don't want to be different or stand out. I think adults have just as much peer pressure, and they too don't want to feel out, and they want to do what everyone is doing, so that they don't feel alone. There is nothing wrong with doing things the right way, instead of being caught up with the wrong things. Anyway, in 1988, I went on a youth camp with the Methodist Church, and I gave my life to Christ. Even Goody Two-shoes like me need Jesus. It wasn't this huge conversion everyone seems to have. I didn't see lightning and stars and some out-of-this-world experience, but I did meet Jesus, and I did experience a change in me. From there on, I lived my life, and even to some degree, even more Goody Two-shoes than I was before. I remember when Shane and I met, he used to use the word fart, and I thought that was bad, and he had to say bath. So manly. Shane and I met at a youth camp in 1991. I was kind of over the top, and I irritated him more than anything else. I know he didn't like me at all, but it is amazing how God works, and for some reason or another, a little while later, I didn't irritate him so much anymore, and slowly two people from two very different backgrounds became friends, and so our relationship started. Shane was actually my first boyfriend and only boyfriend. I was never embarrassed not to have a boyfriend. It just didn't bother me. I think I turned out okay. In fact, I believe in God's plan all along, because I know He kept me for one person and for one person only. From then on, we were inseparable. Shane has this thing that he always says to me: I'm going up to your dad's house, and when I say I mean we. So from now on, my story is we. Just to mention our two handsome young boys, we have the best boys under the sun. I'm not biased, this is actually a true fact. If you go into Google Maps and you type in the search bar, sons better than Judah and Christian under the sun, it actually comes up with, we could not find sons better than Judah and Christian under the sun. So I'm sorry to all the parents out there, but we do have the best sons around. I'm very grateful to God for our boys. Seriously, I would not change them in any way. Sure, we have our little hiccups, but I'm very proud of them. Don't change who you are for anyone. I know that God has lovely ladies prepared for you someday, so don't second guess yourself. And you both know the rules, 5 grandchildren each. I admit sometimes. Sometimes I do feel a bit out because we will sit in company with people and they will tell of all the bad things they did, and I generally never have anything to add. But that's not a bad thing. To me, it is better to face life with no hang-ups and regrets than to have a heavy burden on your shoulders. That is not always possible, but to our young boys here, you still have time to make the right choices so that you can start life almost on a clean slate. It's not easy, and sometimes you are drawn to the wrong things, and it's not cool to be a fool. Anyway, back to church. In some way or another, we were involved in every single church activity there was. No matter how time-consuming it was, or what it was at the time, we believed we should be involved, and so we gave our life all to the church. And looking back over my life, and looking back over, say, the past 5 years, I would dare to say I know God more now in the past 5 years than in the 25 years before that. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people that go to church are not saved. I know I was saved. I know I did all the activities because I felt God's call on my life. I know I loved Him dearly with all my heart, but I think we became caught up in doing things for Him. A few years ago, we kind of had the carpet pulled out from under our feet, and we were left with no structured church. Business was at rock bottom, and we had no one. I don't want to concentrate on the church and what did and didn't happen, because I know God has healed our hearts from that. Even in our worst moments, or most painful moments, God makes something beautiful out of everything. Like I said, we had no one but our family and God. When one is left in a situation like that, the only thing you can do is rely on God completely. We didn't have man that we would turn to and ask his opinion, so we relied on God completely. I mean, with everything we had. Every moment I could spare, I would read the Bible, just to get the strength to face each day. And I learned so much. I still learn so much from the Word even today. There are a couple of scriptures that I have as alarms on my cell phone, and they go off randomly, just to remind myself of where we were and where God has taken us from and what He has done in our lives. I'd like to share them with you. The first one is Deuteronomy 6 verse 5. It says, "And you shall love the Lord your God with all your mind and heart, and with your entire being, and with all your might." God didn't say only sometimes, or when we are down. We are always to love our God. 1 Peter 1:14 says, "So you must live as God's obedient children. Don't slip back into your old ways of living to satisfy your own desires. You didn't know any better then." After a season of hardship, it is easy to forget God and to carry on with our normal way of living. But we actually can't afford to do that. We need to cling to Him even more when things are going well again. Deuteronomy 8 verse 14 says, "Do not become proud at that time and forget the Lord your God, who rescued you from slavery in the land of Egypt." There is a saying, "I will forgive, but I won't forget." I think there is a lot of truth in that little saying. Whoever made it up. Not in a vindictive way where forever we should make someone suffer for what they have done, but in a way that we should set reminders on our hearts so that we don't forget what God has done in our lives and where He has brought us from. Each day has to be a new day, and each day we need to submit our lives to God and trust Him, and then trust Him again the next day.